Hi everyone, you are watching me, Nikki, you also known as Faces Trader here in the Awesome 10X Show. And tonight we have a very special guest. I have here with me Next Level Farms. We're going to discuss indoor hydroponic farming in the Philippines. Here with me is Daria. But before I begin, Daria, I might want to show to them just a 1-minute clip of what Next Level Farms does for the viewer to see what Next Level Farms does. I'm going to share a screen right now. And just gonna go to their website. So everyone who aren't aware, they are a 100% Filipino company. They grow fresh food locally and indoors across the Philippines. Here and they have it here. You could see from the screen. It's a very clear arrow. So it's hydroponics. So you could see that they grow kale, basil, arugula. They also serve a lot of F&B restaurants, Gino's Brick Oven Pizza, Rustan's Marketplace. They are available there in Power Plant and Rockwell with more branches to come. They are tech forward and every produce is non-GMO, no pesticides, very organic, very quality, highly consistent, 24-hour fresh. And perhaps what would be great is to go watch just a quick clip. Like they have a clip. So this is their Future Fresh. Also is Future Fresh and Next Level Farms are same parent company. They've got about 10,400 followers. You can follow them on Instagram. Go Future Fresh and then also type Next Level. Wait up, guys. I'm typing it now. Next Level Farms. So 1,100 followers here. Let's watch a few clips. I saw a clip here. Let's watch this together. So I hope you guys saw the video. It's okay. I'm sorry that there wasn't any audio there because it was Instagram. But it's very clear, Daria, that you have been a proponent of the future of farming. We here in Awesome 10X are excited about the future of farming and the vertical farming, aeroponics. Before we begin, maybe I'll ask you, what led you to start urban farming in the Philippines?
Yeah,
Was it
sure.
fascination on plants?
Yeah. Should I go about background as well, or just straight into answering that?
Well, you can answer everything, like your background. Well, I know that you are an IT consultant, right? So, but do you
No.
always
For background sakes, my father is a diplomat, so kind of grew up traveling around. I actually did my high school here in the Philippines at the International School of Manila. So that was sort of my introduction to the Philippines, and I loved it. Was a really good experience for high school, and always kind of knew I wanted to come back at some point and do something interesting. Essentially, started my career in fashion. Graduated in New York, and from Fordham University, started in fashion, switched to wealth management, and then I was in a boutique consulting firm that essentially worked on cross-border transactions, mostly a lot of Chinese outbound money from the large SWFs, banks, and other large institutions to invest in private equity funds out of North America, Middle East. And for that reason, helped raise actually like over $1.5 billion with that company. But in the end, I was essentially just making very wealthy people wealthier. Not always a bad thing, but I wanted to do something that would be more rewarding and create a really good story. Kind of led me to working and talking a lot of time with my co-founder. There's 4 co-founders in the business of Next Level Farms. But we basically spun ideas off each other, and our focus is on essentially solving what we see as like basic needs issues that are stagnant, that could use a bump in innovation, a technological angle, and just better efficiencies and customer experiences. So that kind of led us to go into agriculture. It started off by hearing from chefs and restaurateurs about how frustrated they are with the buying experience of specifically fresh leafy greens and kind of the more like premium vegetables. One, because they were never readily available when needed. Two, because the price volatility kept jumping and escalating like in the 2000s%. And three, it was just really unreliable delivery, and they had to sort through, and about half of the product had to be thrown out on receiving. So we thought about what's a solution to this angle. We also spoke to friends, as you were, doing a kind of a business case study. And for us as well, we were just, kind of felt like the quality was lacking on the high end side of fresh produce, and also on the varietal end. So of course we heard about and we're familiar with like this whole vertical farming craze, fundraising, startups that has happened, really branching out of North America and Western Europe. But we thought, why couldn't this be possible in the Philippines? Food has to travel so far here. And even on the global scale, a third of essentially supply chain in agriculture is lost before reaching the end customer. And in the Philippines too, you see a very, very high wastage rate. But not to go much into that now, it was essentially bringing a solution to what we saw as like a stagnant industry that wasn't changing. Mm-hmm. So it was to offer new products to people. It was to bring essentially local innovation and next generation farming to the Philippines.
Actually, I'm very proud of you guys. I got cut off in the initial part, but I do am happy that Future Fresh, Next Level Farms are here. Can you show to us the traction of your growth? A lot of farmers would probably copy your technique. Are you afraid that you have a lot of potential competition? And of course, like, it should be a good thing. Actually, it's good for consumers. The total addressable market in the Philippines is huge. I'm seeing that there's a huge wave of people who are now aware of plant-based products. How much demand are you seeing pre-COVID and post-COVID? Like, you could just say it was increased double or triple. I don't need.
Yeah, I think the demand side was always there, but the unfortunate situation kind of propelled it in many ways. In terms of us as well, just from the online customer segment, we grew over 25 times, essentially, basically from March till now, in regards to sales figures. Won't really divulge into the amount, but it's been, the unfortunate situation has been, I guess, somewhat of a blessing for us, because it's something that we launched already actually at the end of last year, and it hadn't caught much traction. We call it the DTC business, or direct to consumer.
Yeah.
Right. So we started that, and right now it's just really been great for us, and also our customers and our loyal customer base has really, really grown too. Where the majority of customers are actually what we consider loyal customers and returning. So for us, it's been, I would say, pretty interesting, and a lot of learning.
What's the highest yield amongst your crops? So most of the people who are indoor farming, forgive me if I'll ask this, a lot of people do cannabis ventures. What is the highest yield amongst your current? So you've got basil, arugula. What was the choice for choosing kale? Was it a little bit about the Philippine demand, or had it been about practicality?
Yeah, well, the interesting part of the demand section was, for us, it was more just a shot and to see, because there's not much research into how many people want kale. You can ask around. But for us, we just kind of took basic research from overseas and what products work. And there is a growing demand, as you say, particularly amongst the youth and otherwise, towards nutrition and otherwise. And kale, for instance, is a big superfood when you break it down in terms of its minerals and nutrients. Same with arugula and otherwise. But the key for us was to see basically those types of products that were not being produced or accessible year round and that were not good quality. In terms of your yield question, it's a little tough to answer because we're actually on our third version of our farm system, which we call a farm box. So I think if your viewers and yourself saw the video, we've essentially taken a 40-foot shipping container and basically reverse engineered it, retrofit it to be a really highly efficient farm. So for us, like for instance, lettuce, we're getting yields over like 250 kilograms per month in our latest technology. And our current farm, we produce pretty much a little over a ton a month of produce in 8 of our systems.
Do you guys, are you hiring? Like, how many employees have you started with? And are you increasing and expanding your team? I saw a bit about your team in a Zoom video, like a snapshot in your Instagram. So I'm thinking that you've got about at least 20 people right now working on Future Fresh. How many container vans do you now have? You started with one. How many are you guys now? How many are the employees of Next Level Farms and the co-founders? I mean, you mentioned you are 4? You are 4 or 5 founders?
4.
Was it? You're 4. Okay. And how many employees do you guys have? Are you planning to expand your training and education to other potential? I mean, a lot of people have a backyard. They probably can purchase a container gardening. I forgot to ask, like, how much? I'm not sure if you will be willing to say this though. How much would be a minimum capital investment that a person who just wanted to put it in a backyard farm at home would have to invest in, other than her time and her energy? Was it really something that is it so? I have so many questions. I'm not even sure if you'll answer me the numbers question, but feel free not to answer that if it's too private.
No, I think it's something everyone's interested in. That was a lot of questions, but I'll answer that one first. So, I mean, in regards to our farm systems, you know, we basically narrowed down the pricing to under 35 grand, which is like really one of the most affordable systems that you see manufactured.
$35,000, or is it $35,000? Okay.
Yep. Okay. And of course, there's economies of scale to be gained. But for us, really, it's quite incredible because it's hitting at much more affordable than anything you could buy overseas and bring here or things like that. And anything that you would to do and try that, you'll be paying way above $100,000 at least. And also, it's not going to work well here in the Philippines due to a lot of engineering and construction.
Do you prefer people to just commercially just buy the systems that you're offering? Is $35,000 something that you plan to sell to an amateur who wants to have it in her backyard, or how does this work? Like, do you guys have a franchising system? Do you want to plan to sell your system? Because a lot of pros, like you guys are pros, so you've gone the 3 years. I mean, you started what, 20?
We started mid. We started really mid. Call it like end 2017, but it's not easy. I mean, it was like 6 months of testing and figuring out. We used to basically hit like 1 kilogram a month, which is terrible. But now we're hitting like well around 200 kilograms, so quite a significant change. Wow. There's a really big learning experience through it. Plus, it's also our locally homegrown tech too. In terms of franchising, that's a question we get asked a lot. At the moment, the answer is no. We're not franchising it because there's still a lot of efficiencies to be had, as well as kind of want to control the entire value chain. And there's still further innovations and improvements we want to go on. We're on our 3rd system now, version. And we're looking to do more. So in terms of someone doing it themselves or in their backyard, I mean, we basically scaled it to an industrial scale or style business versus more of the hobbyist. If you were an amateur and it's kind of your first foray against hydroponics, it's going to be pretty tough to run one of our systems, but it is actually a lot easier than doing an open farm or greenhouse style.
Yeah, actually, like I think I'm not sure if it's right for me to ask this, but in the US, I'm not sure if you've been seeing Aero Garden. So they have been promoting indoor gardening systems for amateurs to just grow their lettuce and use hydroponics, and they're selling their systems for $150. And I figured that maybe since you guys are like the technology proponents and innovators here in the Philippines, you might actually come up with a product to educate most people who aren't just interested to buy your arugula, but also grow their arugula here. I mean, anything works actually. I saw that you guys have, of course, like everyone might be wondering, is Next Level Farms selling your what is the main difference other than the quality, the freshness? Are you cheaper than the current alternative, or is it same?
Okay.
What could you say about your product? Kale, arugula, basil. Buying it from Next Level Farms is about what versus the industry?
So we have like 9 SKUs versus the industry. We're about 30% higher than really local, but we are under imported, and we don't necessarily compare our products to local products. One, because we don't really want to compete directly with local farmers, because we respect and support local farmers, but it's more so, to get to kind of our quality of products, as well as what we're growing and otherwise. This stuff is generally imported from like Australia and Italy on the shelves. So that's kind of more, if you were to consider on a price to price and quality of product, more so along our competitors. And we're actually priced like under that, about 15-20%.
I forgot to ask, like, how many employees do you currently have, and what has been the growth since 2017 till 2020? So
yeah, so
yeah.
we're now 29 strong.
29?
Of course, a large amount of that, or half of that, is really like people that are at the farm or working at the farm. We have the management team, which is 4 co-founders, and then we have obviously our head grower or agronomist. We have marketing team, data science team. We've recently really pivoted towards heavy use of analytics and sensors and things like that, as well as the engineering team. So 29 strong. When we began, it was really just the management team and 2 other people. And what's incredible is that none of us have a background in farming. It was really more of a passion and learning. But I mean, coming together, we've worked with advisors and consultants too, but we're just really proud of what we've been able to achieve with really this super efficient farming system without being agronomists ourselves.
Yeah, actually, I'm happy actually with this particular trend. We are seeing a lot of millennials wanting to be farmers, which wasn't really there evident in the last decade. And a lot of these farmers are more scientific in nature. I saw, and I'm very proud to see how you guys have automated a lot of your gardening. I saw in the website of Next Level Farms. Could you tell me a little bit about how you guys were automating? Like it says here, the tech forward farming. We continually search investing for the top of the line hardware and software, ensuring temperature, humidity, CO2, pH levels, nutrient concentration. Is this mostly you or the 4 founders? Who's the geek amongst you guys? Or are you all geeks?
It's probably the CEO. I mean, we're all geeky in our own ways. But our CEO, Pat Lim, is really the one that kind of spearheaded the technology side of it. He's also a previous, still is like a web developer and engineer background. But also, just to mention for the viewers and all, the nextlevelfarms.xyz website is really more of a placeholder. The one that we really use, and it's also our online channel and e-commerce site, is futurefresh.ph. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go to the Future Fresh. Okay, wait up. Yeah, actually, why don't we promote your stuff? Futurefresh.ph. I'm gonna share it now to you. Farm to door delivery. I'm going to share the screen of the website to everyone. So most of you guys might not have heard that there is a Future Fresh in the Philippines, the freshest locally grown produce, post-organic, pesticide-free. Shop now. You can get your power salad mix. This one is what I got, actually. It was my sister's recommendation to order power salad mix. And then what I was really happy about was the fact that it was fresh, and it was so fresh that after a week, it was still, nothing was wilted. Not, I'm proud of that fact that it was clean, and I think it has to do with how it was produced in the first place. There was no soil, so hydroponics. If you mind, what is the best seller amongst your mix available at the farm? Is
Yeah,
it
there's
the
a lot.
pollen?
I actually have one here just to kind of
Uh-huh.
show. Like
Okay.
this is a week and a half old. So sorry, I don't know if
Wow.
it's coming out correctly.
One
And
week and a half.
what we're
Great.
selling.
That's like
So this,
10 days.
yeah,
How
so this is
long is
our
the shelf life? Have you ever
Salanova lettuce
like
mix.
checked? Two
Yeah, so
weeks?
the shelf life. Thank you for mentioning this. I can kind of go into the details as to why it is, and it has to play with really urban farming, but obviously also the indoor farming aspect. Yeah, but for us, it's really the Salanova lettuce mix. We have customers tell us that, wow, like the produce has lasted over 2 weeks. It also is a factor of storage and obviously your fridge. The better
Mhm.
fridge you have, the better
Cold temperature.
temperature it could be. We also kind of have a storage tips section that you get on as a QR code on every package you receive when you order from us. But really, yeah, it can last 2 weeks or longer, depending how you use it. And that's one of the things that first amazes people, and also a reason why they kind of also buy in bulk or in larger quantities, or also have the opportunity to just buy more. So that's something that's new to the market, and something that from a chef side of things or also a general consumer, we're kind of, from feedback we heard, they just have to eat their vegetables as quick as possible, or their leafy greens, and consume it as fast as possible, because at the next day
Yeah.
it's going to be wilted, or black, or smell weird.
Yeah, actually, like most people, they're so afraid whenever they buy salad that after 3 days, it's already wilted. So I am so surprised that after a week, it is fresh. So I was like, wow, this is good. Um, good product, really. I wanted to ask, have the because you have a lot of restaurants, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not so sure if they've been raving about your produce. Like in the US, Momofuku Group invested in Aero Farms. Has any chef approached you to actually just be a sole, bulk buyer of your produce? I've seen Gino's Brick Oven Pizza, some of your restaurants as partners. How did it come about? Was it just a general love for your product, and then they just, hey, we want like our ingredients to come from you? And I feel like most of the best pizzas, and this is a nod to Gino's Pizza as well. I love Gino Brick Oven Pizza. It probably has to do with their ingredients, and you guys are the secret sauce for a good pizza. How did that partnership come about?
Sure
They just
thing.
approached you?
We actually don't supply Genos anymore, just as a
Not
disclaimer.
anymore.
But it
Sorry.
but it came about really because in the beginning, in the beginning stages, like 2018 and early 2019, our sales channel mix was heavily focused on F&B. Now our F&B segment is really negligible because we focus more on retail, supermarket ends, and the direct to customer.
Direct
But really, when we
consumer.
started off, what was interesting, and the reason why people wanted to buy from us, is because these chefs actually came to the farm because we wanted their advice or opinion. And of course, we were starting with like arugula. That was the first product that we started with, and they helped us professionally, in a way, cater the taste to their preferences, because it's amazing how much you can adjust the taste from an indoor farm, given like the different parameters that you adjust in the system. But really, the taste can vary so much in how you plant. So for us, we took essentially all the feedback and designed something, and an arugula that we think really caters to Filipino taste buds, actually.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's why they started like buying from us. And it was an interesting sort of business study in its own sense, because at first they balked at our prices.
Mm.
But of course, we have to charge what we do, because indoor farming is far exceeding the general costs of traditional farms. But net actually not so much. But for them, they always had to overbuy, and they were always familiar with having to throw away at least like 30% of it on arrival. So for them, budging that their cost of goods sold within like kind of their menu items, when they first saw our price, they were surprised. Then when they got it delivered and they realized, oh, I don't have to throw anything away, and this lasts, then they became regular buyers. Yeah.
Actually, one thing that I noticed that is going well for you as well is that the cost of solar has truly gone down. I've seen how a lot of urban farms abroad, because most of this hydroponics would definitely need 17 hours of LED light, and that would cost a lot from an electricity standpoint. Are you guys lowering costs through solar panels in those next level farms? How are you guys doing it today? Are you guys a big user of solar?
We don't use solar because solar is a financial drag, really, in the grand scheme of it, until it gets to a certain point. Like, I don't really want to get into our payback periods yet. We are actually fundraising right now, but really, it would increase the payback period well over 2 times to install solar.
So
of course, it depends. Yeah, of course, it depends where you are, though, and the case. A big part of it is also the battery storage, though, more than just the solar panels. But for your viewers' interest, and perhaps you yourself, it's pretty interesting when you move from traditional farming to indoor urban farming. It's really an electricity management business at the end of it as well. Really not just farming, but it's electricity management.
You have to like 17 hours, is it? 17 hours? Is it like 24 hours? The lights.
It varies per plant. Some need more, but plants also need to sleep. So if you basically put them under the sun, like I guess like we would for a long time, or all time night, you go a little crazy. It's the same with plants. They won't grow as effectively. They need to rest too. But the main thing is that we can give them the most efficient lighting time for a longer period of time than they ever would during natural daylight, nightlight. So that you're right, though. Some take about 17 hours, but usually it's more of a even day and night split than you'd think. The part of it is the cooling, is the temperature, which stays constant.
So the huge maintenance cost is electricity and a lot of. So I know like hydroponics is 95% less water, right? Because it's recycled.
That's correct. Yeah, compared to traditional farming, 95% or more less water is used.
How would you recommend to current farmers what they should do to improve their yield? Like example, if I am a tomato farmer, I'm not sure if you guys really explored other things. So would you suggest that more Filipinos do indoor farming for tomatoes, for strawberries? Did you guys like try those to cultivate a few of those? I know cannabis is a high crop, but maybe not good for the Philippines yet. We aren't legalizing cannabis yet here until that law passes.
Right. It's hard to advise because the way we grow is so different, right? I don't know how those farmers would be able to run and invest in biosystems because they already have a lot of financial troubles just being a farmer here. So for us, it's really a heavy capex business. So would be hard for me to recommend local farmers to get into this. However, in regards to just doing indoor farming, they could also kind of do semi-greenhouse or things like that. But of course, you're more limited to what you grow. But in the general sense, it's a very capex intensive business when you look at indoor urban farming. So you have to have the right capital to back that up.
Are you happy with the current trend in pandemic? Like there's a lot of gardeners, hobbyists. Actually, well, it's more it's bigger in US. I'm not quite sure about the Philippines because in the US maybe it's about the systems that are readily available. So they have those indoor gardening systems that is prepared. Like I've seen somebody like you just open the fridge and then it's got all of these LED lights. I'm not gonna. Yeah, so like it's as if like I just bought a refrigerator machine and I can just have grow the food at home. What are you most bullish on for your current company for Future Fresh in the next 6 months and maybe in the next 12? I don't know, maybe about 6 to 36 months, about 6 months to 3 years. What are you most bullish upon about next Future Fresh farm to door delivery? What do you see
Yeah,
happening?
well, we're all about the grow where you are. And I mean, for us right now, we just officially launched our Series A round. So
Mm-hmm.
for us, we're looking to expand and grow really quick. We right now have our one farm site in New Manila. We're looking to do and open up three by the end of the year,
That's
and
good.
essentially multiply quite quickly in the number of boxes that we have. And from there, the story goes onwards to expanding outside of the Philippines at some point, because the nature of our systems is that it works really well in the Philippines, others don't. And that is actually transferable to Indonesia and other places. And we're very, very much focused on controlling the entire value chain of things. So everything from basically seed design of the system, farm equipment, to the delivery is on us. And that's something we want to see. So, I mean, in terms of us and the trend, like very, very bullish on this. In many other um, countries,
In
basically
countries
even
like
regionally,
Japan.
hydroponic goods or hydroponic produce is basically seen mostly because of its unparalleled, like the perception of freshness, but it's
Mhm.
actually the highest end product, and people regard it that way and respect the price of it. It is the most
Mhm.
valued. So that trend actually may very well and hopefully will come here as well. The more people buy from us and perhaps from other hydroponic suppliers. So that's kind of the trend that I see. There is definitely a trend for more people wanting to grow it at home and use it more as a hobby and see. But again, you have to really love what you're growing, and you have to keep a careful watch on that. But it is something that everybody should try. Pick one of your favorite products or produce that you have difficulty getting, and try growing it through one
Do
of those
you
systems.
do you have a pet, or is plant your only pet? Because when I was studying all these plants, I realized that wow, these plants need plant food. Then they've got that electricity. Then there's aircon. It's a lot of money to actually grow your own plants and to see them suffer. Actually, when you mentioned a while ago that it used to be just one yield and then it became like 300, it sounds as if like you took care of that plant as if it was like a child. And then it's kind of good to actually see guys talk about plants that way. It's as if you're talking to plants as if they were children or pets. Do you have pets, or your only pet is the plant?
No pet here. I love cats
No
and
pet.
birds. I will get that eventually. But really, it is plants right now. And I mean, we're
You
taking the plants
can.
from just a seed and nursing it. Actually, one of the stages of a plant's life cycle is nursing, basically, seedling nursing. So we nurse it and take really gentle care of it, but then sadly have to cut it from its home and deliver it to be consumed. But yeah, I mean, we care a lot about the product, and everyone at the farm, especially the farmers, like just care deeply and are passionate for what they hear from the customers. They want to give the best product. You're there when you're really there at the farm, day in, day out. It is like your baby, I guess. You can kind of use that reference because you see them grow and they require a lot of care. Their plants are fragile.
Actually, I didn't ask this, but are the four founders all full time right now? So is this your full time job? All of your lifetime is devoted to Future Fresh so far, or do you have like or there's a hobby right now? I mean, well, it's not really a hobby. It's a hobby that's now a business. Are you guys all full time now?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of split because we actually have two businesses as well. We're also kind of the leader in micro desalination facilities in the Philippines through our company Next Level Water, or Ever Water.
Mm-hmm.
But myself and Pat, who I mentioned earlier, are more full time on Next Level Farms.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the other co-founders too are heavily involved and have their own roles in the company.
Yeah. Um. So this congratulations for your Series A. There will be B, C, D, E, F. They will be very happy to see how you're. I actually want you guys to succeed so much, such that I hope that your 29 employees becomes like thousands of employees someday. There are a lot of companies that can grow so well in this. This is an endeavor that maybe the Philippines has to be more aware of. And you guys doing this as a first is actually a good thing. And I would like to encourage more people to copy, because in the end, it's a form of flattery for all of you guys to be copied, to actually have more farms in the Philippines engage in indoor hydroponic farming. Is there any sad thing though amongst like the first 3 years, other than crops shortage? Was the hardest part of starting this business, indoor farming?
Oh, yeah, there's obviously a lot of stories that you have as an entrepreneur and as a young company. Sorry, also we're raising our Series A round now. We haven't closed it yet. But yeah, for us, the challenge, I mean, just really designing our own system had so much learnings to take from, and essentially becoming expert growers where we are now. That was really a challenge because we decided ourselves to be like, look, we want to control the entire value chain for the main reason that pretty much all the produce that is sold aside from ours or traditional farming touches more than 9 pairs of hands from the farm to reaching the end customer. And for us, we had to come up with this way to basically be like, we don't want to touch more than 2 pairs of hands to reach the end customer, guaranteeing freshness, quality, cleanliness, safety, sustainability, and all of that. So the challenges really came alongside the tech and innovation angle of it.
Do you think like the Series A financing would ramp up your what would be the general capital purpose of that Series A financing? It would be expanding the current container vans to more places, like from 1 site to 3 sites. Is it generally an expansion of the current system?
Yeah, so basically it's split up in
perhaps?
3 ways. You have the working capital side of it. Expanding the site footprint is the bulk of it, as well as R&D. We have a lot of R&D planned regards to like growing new crops, growing new varieties of product, moving into things like fruits, tomatoes, stuff like that. And there's a heavy R&D focus that needs to happen. But we do have a pretty succinct like 3-year growth strategy and 3-year sort of product roadmap. In the next 12 months, we want to grow to a minimum of 45 farm boxes deployed. So right now we're at 8.
From 8 to 45. Okay. Amongst the 29 employees that you currently have, what are their roles in the company? What do they? So you said that they were agronomists. Does that mean like 25 of them are agronomists? So they watch those produce, or like how is it split? Those employees, are they more of the engineers, like the software engineers, or farm engineers? How do you call them?
Yeah, so the departments are pretty much some standard, some not. So you have the we call it basically the agronomy and growing department, farm operations. That's basically around 10 people. That's your farmers, as well as the head of agronomy and some others on the admin side of it too. Then you have the marketing department, which is one of the ones that I'm heading with my team, which is around 4 of us. We have our engineering side of it that's growing as well. And what have I missed actually?
Sales, the e-commerce side.
The data side, the data and analysis side, and the sales aspect.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure if you've heard Shopee. So the Shopee right now in Malaysia, I think it was Thailand. So Thailand, what happened here is that the e-commerce company supported the farmers to do a direct-to-consumer thing. So the durian farmers were selling it straight to the Shopee, teaching these farmers, training and supporting them to actually sell their durian straight to the customer. How is Future Farms doing an e-commerce channel other than the Instagram, other than your website per se? Have you gotten talks with Grab or Shopee or Lazada in the Philippines? Or you've got so much demand, but so little produce? But that's a good problem, right? You've got like so much demand, but so little produce.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a good situation of over demand
Over
in terms of
demand.
what we're
So you
growing.
really need to keep on producing a lot of those supply. What's the average yield time for your arugula? What's the fastest yield amongst those plants? Basil, arugula, how many days does it take to just grow them?
Yeah,
What's
I
the
mean,
fastest?
they're all pretty equal in time. Really, from a seed to harvest, though, you're looking at about a month. But then it's really going like 1 to 2 week cycles after. Plants you want to harvest, depending on plant, can be harvested maybe 3 times up to really 4 times. Generally, we don't go beyond 3 times because the more you wait, the bigger the leaf gets, the more the trace changes. So you have to be very efficient in the supply chain. That goes back to one of the challenges actually going that we had to. The supply chain is a big part of it regarding the growing.
Yeah, could you answer something about like your e-commerce channels? Have you gone talking with Grab or any Shopee, Lazada, or too much to do in terms of e-commerce channels?
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. I mean, there was a big boom of suddenly inquiries wanting us to
So
appear
Food
on
Panda.
a few of these sellers. So Food Panda, we were with them before the pandemic. But of course, they have a certain like delivery radius. So really, that's more for Quezon City residents. We will be on Grab Food soon as well, and then we have partnerships with Kumu, for instance, which is also running on their live e-commerce segment. So we
Mhm.
do also sell through Kumu. We are also on Lazada. So for us, we welcome partners. There's a couple of others that we're in talks with, and will also appear because, aside from us, we don't grow and sell meat. We are not in fruits yet. So the one thing is like arugula spinach, for instance, pairs really well with steak and meat. So there's a few synergies and partnerships that could be had with some other sellers in a similar price range and target audience.
Farm to plate, farm to door delivery. That's a wonderful thing. You guys have a really great future ahead of you. I hope that you don't forget us when you guys are billionaires. Just work hard, continue to work hard. Um, I think that I want you to pitch to people like how could they order the freshest produce? What do you prefer? Anyone who's watching this video stream right now, how should they order? Should they just go to your Instagram or just through the website, farm to door delivery? Is it this one?
Thanks, Nikki. So yeah, we actually do have I believe a store on Instagram now since we hit our 10,000 followers. But really, the best way is we have a list of
Future
supermarkets
Fresh.
on the website that we're in. But I always recommend you want to order from futurefresh.ph, futurefresh.ph, because for
Mhm.
that you're getting same day harvest guaranteed. So basically, the produce will be finished harvesting around 11 a.m. and then it goes out to customers between 12 and 4 p.m. So you're really getting something that is as fresh as possible, and therefore extends shelf life, extends the nutrient density, extends basically the freshness overall and taste. So we recommend that. We also have a pretty generous rewards program too. When you order from futurefresh.ph and create an account, as well on the customer and the experience front side of things and communicating with us. That's what I recommend. www.futurefresh.ph.
Okay. Uh, Go here, guys. So you just order straight, contact them, and order your summer salad mix. I should ask you, have you become plant-based because of this hydroponic farming? Or are you flexitarian? What's your daily diet like? I don't know, because usually it's the people who love plants that ends up becoming plant-based. Are you vegan
Yeah.
or any trend?
Well, none of the founders are vegetarian or vegan, actually.
Okay.
I'm more, I can't say no to meat entirely, but I am
Okay.
fully for like the different plant-based businesses that are coming up, plant-based foods and varieties, because I mean, plants are some of the most nutrient-rich products there are, so wide in terms of its minerals and nutrients. So my uptake of produce has definitely increased Same with being stuck at home and exercises, not being able to go out as much. It's a great time to definitely incorporate more plants in your diet. There's also an easier case to do this where you can order our products and just juice it or smoothie it. That's kind of an easy or a more gentle way to get into eating more greens in case you're not a fan of greens, but you want the nutrients and to get familiar with it. There's that way too.
I have a question, Daria. If you had the best resources in the world, I mean, if anyone out there was listening right now, who do you want to be your partner? If you had unlimited resources right now, I mean, unlimited capital, unlimited. If for all we know, like there's a billionaire out there, whether in the Philippines or abroad, who's listening. What would be your best scenario for your company had you had unlimited resources? How big do you need the capex? Don't worry,
well, I mean,
it's just a dream. You can say, "Oh, okay, I need $100 million and I need this, whatever you want." Which, what would be your best dreams? Like your partners, the vision that you really want for Future Fresh to have.
Yeah, I mean, good question, difficult question when we're looking at who we really, want to be there. But look, for us, it's really become, for us, it's really, our focus is really on transforming agriculture in Southeast Asia through our vertically innovative next-gen farming systems, and secondary to feed people the freshest, most nutritious, and clean vegetables possible. So someone that has that same mindset, right? And in terms of us, our 5-year revenue target is to get to 100 million per year in kind of recurring gross sales. And that would essentially could very well and will be like half or more than a half from PH and the rest from Southeast Asia. So
are you talking about $200 million or 200 million pesos?
Dollars,
right? Dollars, of course. Yeah. So you're looking at
to
about
us, we see for us, we see like the premium vegetable segment in the Philippines that being currently $400 million. But of course, there's also a section there where so many people don't have the ability to try or aren't familiar with the products yet. So really, it balloons more to like 550 and above kind of $1 million possible annual consumption.
The hydroponics market, they say, is about $16 billion. I took a look at the industry. At least that's what US says. It's about $16 billion for hydroponics. And I think they were saying something like more than 20 or $30 billion or even $80 billion for cannabis market. So there's a huge industry when it comes to plants, whether it be specific to arugula and lettuce or high-end vegetables, or just really for those who just want to consume plants. So I am happy that you guys are here. I don't know if Kimball Musk, Square Roots, he's done it. He is doing this urban farming. Do you guys have like mentors or people from abroad that you look up to? Do you guys did you guys check Aero Farms or is this do you guys have like some, I don't know, anyone that inspired you to do this hydroponics farming per se amongst the four of you?
I think it really drove from our own passion in solving these what we see as basic needs problems in the product and the quality, the cost, and the accessibility. But in terms of obviously respect and seeing, wow, they were able to do this overseas, right? Raise $200 million from Amazon, others raising, $50 million from Google and IKEA and otherwise. There's, it's inspirational in that sense, and especially interesting because some are almost kind of using the same technology. Some are basically reusing from the same suppliers, whereas us, we're really building our own thing. So it's quite interesting in that sense too. And we believe we have our own advantages that really are specific to this climate and this type of environment.
Yeah, let's just try to look at the questions. I forgot. There are questions. Actually, there are people asking They were watching Future Fresh since Q4 2019. They also messaged the Instagram page. They were asking, are you looking to expand your sales teams? If like if you guys have financing, who are the people that should apply to Future Fresh?
Yeah. So right now we're not hiring, but we will the moment we close that Series A round, because we're going to expand like mad. So for those that are interested, first of all, you can just email us at hello@futurefresh.ph. Please spread the word. Always also looking for interns or those interested. Really, for one, it's passion for agriculture, passion for revolutionizing a stagnant industry, passion for technology and food, as well as those who really care about customers, because in the end of it, you have to care about the product, but you also have to listen and care about customer needs. We've learned so much from just communicating with customers, and that's really important. But we welcome roles across from engineering, sales, definitely on the agronomy side of things. We're looking to expand, and we are the pioneer BOI kind of registered indoor farmer here in the country. So we're definitely looking to maintain our advantage and lead.
I'm actually excited for the hydroponics farmer. And, the big farms in Cavite and all these Tagaytay, I wonder how their knowledge and you guys, your knowledge, how it could get married and actually solve a huge problem in the Philippines. Because the Philippines is an agrarian country, first and foremost. And we have always lost to other countries, whether it be Vietnam when it comes to rice. So I wonder how UP, University of the Philippines, all those agronomists and agriculture hobbyists and enthusiasts, how they could help solve a lot of problems. I like actually the fact that you said that you just want to feed people. We have a lot of hungry people, and if we can find out a cheaper way to actually feed the world, not just Filipinos, but really feed Asia, right? That's a great thing, and money will flow to you, especially if they see the yields of the crops. So I don't think there's any more questions on my end. I'm thankful for all your time. This has been a very fruitful. Oh well, it's not really a fruitful. It's I don't know what vegetable. Like
green experience. I don't know. Yeah.
Green experience. Okay. I'm thankful for this. I'm happy to connect. So let us connect, as in lettuce, arugula lettuce connect. Got it. I tried to make a joke. Okay. So thank you very much. Let us continue to connect. And I would look forward to seeing Next Level Farms or Future Fresh truly be a wonderful company in the next few years. So I'm happy. I pretty much I truly believe in your Series A, and I do want your company to continue to expand and grow. Thank you very much, Daria. This is a pleasure for us. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nikki. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.